Okay, lovely jaded mystic. How are you doing today?
I'm doing just lovely. How are you doing, Fossil Leaks?
Oh, the lovely jaded mystic is doing lovely. Well, wait, what adjective did you use for me?
I don't remember.
The adjective faucet leaks is also doing adjectively, as one does.
I think there is a way to set up like an instant replay thing. Maybe we need that for when my brain just farts and goes, I don't know.
Our brains just fart.
Sure, we can do that.
I feel like we could probably do a lot of updating to the stream. I've kind of had like little ideas. I know that I would like to update um the overlay and stuff like
Hmm.
that at some point. But I just don't know what I want to change it to, and I also don't really have the funds to be
Yeah.
commissioning something. And I feel like what I want to do is pretty. I'd probably just want to do something basic, something relatively simple. I think if anything, the problem is I feel like I have too much going on, and I feel like I could
Hmm.
simplify it.
Time for us to learn how to draw.
I know, right? Should I show off my one piece of art I've done in the last 2 decades? I
You can at
used
least do a good job of drawing your outfits when you want them made.
Yeah, I will say like doing a simple silhouette drawing is pretty easy. I feel like don't really do the detail that well, but I give enough of a shape and design that you can tell what I'm going for.
Hmm.
When uh, not me about to be on here being elitist, but uh, when I hear about queens that are like, I don't design my own clothes, it drives me insane. I'm a baby and I'm like not good at anything design wise. Like, I can't craft anything. Yeah, I come up with the ideas for every outfit I come with. I don't just want to be like a mannequin for someone else's work. Like, I guess there is a place for designers. I'm not gonna say that there's not, but at the same time, it's just like I feel like
Yeah.
the fun thing about drag is that it's like your art, and it's not really your art if such a large part of it is somebody else's art.
Yeah.
Though also, I spend most of my time just on here doing makeup and not even putting on a wig, so what do I really know?
Hmm. I think lots.
I have a lot of opinions. That doesn't mean I know everything. Doesn't mean I know anything, but I got opinions on them. I tell you what.
Yeah. I mean, there could be something said for like wearing other people's outfits, but you're still the personality, but it's still then like a group effort type of situation, kind of like a play.
Yeah, I think the part that gets me is really the drag race of it all. The going out on stage where it's not necessary. Like, yeah, you can definitely add some personality to your runway, but like you're not adding a ton. Like, it's still primarily based on the look, and then for the look
Hmm.
to just have been something commissioned by somebody else, I feel like, well, that's not really your drag.
Yeah.
I mean, a good commissioner, a good person that you commission will make it fit your drag, but it does kind of drive me crazy that uh there are looks on Drag Race that the queen just wears and did not like design.
Hmm.
Because I think there's also something to be said for quote unquote designing versus like designing. Because there's like I feel like what I do is quote unquote designing. I'm not in there like actually I even pick out the fabrics myself for my outfits. I take my fabrics, I draw the look, and then I give it. But I feel like there's something to at least be said for like the coming in with an idea and then having the commissioner uh or commission no the commissioner be like bring it to life,
Yeah.
work out the details, make it like structurally sound. But like I think if you're at least doing that much, if it's a cooperative effort, that you're in the good. But there's literally been times that Drag Race queens in particular have been like, I don't. I don't do any of the designing. I think on this season, I think what really got me was on season 17 when they were doing the Meet the Queens questions. I think they had a question about like designing outfits or something, and one of the queens was like, I don't do any of that. I got people for that.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no. Like, creating the outfit, yes. I definitely get having someone create your outfit, but uh, there's a difference between like a drag look and being a runway model where you're literally just putting on someone else's creation. And I feel
Yeah.
like you should be a part of the creation in some way, shape, or form. If you're not a part of the creation outside of paying for it, then I think that should be outlawed straight to jail. Look at me with my
Yeah.
opinions.
But I'm just thinking about like Lazy Susan, uh, like she definitely came up with a number of her creative concepts, but it was still like, well, I still need like some people to help me with it to figure out the execution.
Yeah, though I do like that you bring up Lazy Susan because wasn't their mother a like professional costume designer and their father was an actor or something like that?
Might have been, but I mean, she's still coming up with the like concepts and designs
Oh
and
yeah,
stuff,
but
like you
I definitely think
mentioned.
there's
So
she was prepared for that.
yeah.
She's been prepared for that. I'm thinking more like these like queens like me and like queens even bigger than me, the like other local queens that are going and finding the one queen in the city that will do commissions cheap for other queens. Shout out to Illustrious Designs and Lexington, Kentucky. Um, but like, are you just over there rolling dice?
Yes,
Damn.
because we're still on the starting screen. So
Yeah, we should probably switch over in a minute. Are you about ready? We can keep
yes.
complaining about Drag Race. We haven't put our pictures up, so this can just be I can just put on like oh, what's it called? Subway Dash or something with us talking over it to keep the kiddos entertained.
Oh,
Subway
Subway
Surfers.
Surfers.
I feel like there's a Dash one too, but I can't remember. I don't play those games. Oh,
Yeah,
wrong
I played
stream.
Subway Surfers a little bit.
I feel like I never do well at those games. Are you all set up?
Yep.
Okay, this might be a pretty chill stream. Might just do a little bit of finish out the epilogue. Um, I'm wondering if I can use D&D Beyond for the character creation. I think that could simplify things. If not, I've got
Hmm.
a couple other things in mind. I didn't really prepare much for this because I was kind of thinking it would be more of a collaborative venture, but I do have a couple ideas. Um, so are you all set up with the epilogue? Do we want to go ahead and start with that?
Yeah, I have the epilogue ready if you're ready.
Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and go live on TikTok.
Okay.
Okay. And just make sure everything's coming through all right. You know, got to do that millennial pause. Only my millennial pause is staring at my phone for 30 seconds to make sure everything came up properly. I do wish that one of these streaming sites would just have a good uh, app to go live on, like have a built-in OBS instead of needing to do OBS separately because there's been times when I hit the OBS button and it says that the stream started and then it doesn't properly connect to the actual account that
Yeah.
streams.
Okay.
Okay, we ready?
Yep. All right. So, do you want to give a recap of what happened in the previous stream?
Oh yeah, I guess we can do a recap. I was thinking like the epilogue, won't that kind of recap? Or I guess it's more what happened after the fact. Okay, so the recap
Yeah.
is the campaign's done. The end. No. Okay, so I don't remember what exactly we started on. I think we started. Oh, we started with going to the morgue. So we got to the morgue. We saw the unalived body of the young lady. She attacked us. We had a really hard time. Had a really hard time. Rolled like four attack rolls that did not pass an 8 AC.
You said, I do not want to spend one single spell slot to just like nix this in the bud.
No, and
And
then
then
I
it
ended up
ate
spending
away your
that
health.
spell slot and needing to spend my last spell slot to heal myself because I took too much damage during that fight. It was awful. I wanted to save one spell slot and ended up using all of them. But yes, we re-unalived the young lady, as one does, and then we found the baddie. I'm a little on the edge, or on the edge. I'm edged right now. Uh, Part of me is like, how much do you really want to recap at the end of an episode? Like, if you're recapping the end of a murder mystery, you're just saying who the culprit was right from the beginning. So, if you want to know who unalived that woman, then you should go play The Wolves of Langston by The Obvious Mimic. Not sponsored, though they could sponsor me if they want. Hey, Obvious Mimic, you want to sponsor me? They did give me a free book. That's something. Hey, Uzi, how you doing?
Hey, Uzi.
So yeah, I'm not going to go through the whole ending. I'm just going to say we got it right. We knew we were correct in who we picked out as the unaliver. We found the person that unalived that woman, and we were successful. And if you want to know who did it, maybe we'll do another Wolves of Langston down the line. I think like after some time we could redo these campaigns and maybe even switch it up and like IDM for you once we've gotten a little bit more comfort. Because now that I know the story, I feel like I could probably like
Mm.
make little twists and turns and like add to the story a little bit more.
I wonder if I'll figure out who done it.
Who did it? Who done did it? Hi, HT. How are you doing? So yeah, we finished the campaign and we found the person that unalived the woman. We got them sent straight to jail. Do not pass go. And then we got our reward. We got some money.
So,
So
well,
now we're going to the epilogue, and we're going to see what's going to happen at the epilogue. So I think at the beginning of the epilogue, we either could choose to leave the city and go do the real twist is the player who did it. Yes, I know, right? I mean,
I
honestly,
it tracks for Tiffany. Tracks
it
for Tiffany.
it does kind of track for the character I was playing. I was very upset when I removed the curse off of the person we shall not name because, like I said, if you want to know who did it, you got to watch it. You got to do it yourself, or you got to wait till we do this again, or you can watch the. I'm gonna post some summaries, and in the summaries, I'll give away all the hints. But yeah, so we got the epilogue, which was basically we could choose to just leave the city or we could go to the epilogue. And I think what we're going to do, depending on what the epilogue says, because we have not actually started reading it yet, is I think we might just like write it in here that Tiffany becomes the new cleric of the Sun Temple. She's already a cleric. Maybe she just decides to stay in Langston and help out the town. Maybe she wants to be a part of the temple. Let's see. Start with the epilogue, Jaded.
Yes, and I believe the epilogue is essentially we're wrapping up some strings that haven't been uh, tied yet. Is that the correct wording?
You do tie strings.
Because I believe the villain that we defeated, they have been taken away. So this means that the undead might be rising again.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that part. Okay, so the undead, the unalived, might be rising.
All right, so here we go. Uh, Dawn breaks bleak and gray over the still homes of Langston. You are just returning from leading an uneventful night on patrol, but not all of them have been so quiet. The town has taken measures to quarantine the cemetery. The townsfolk are walking the rows of headstones with clubs to destroy any dead as they claw or unalived as they claw their way out of the graves. However, Langston has stood in this spot for hundreds of years and has not always used the same cemetery to inter their dead. Over the past week since capturing Solane, you have already dealt with the animated remains of two people and several house pets. The innkeeper greets you warmly as you stagger into the pickled hen with the townsfolk you led through the streets last night. He silently sets a hot meal in front of you and your companions as more militia members filter into the temporary headquarters for undead hunters. A few bites into your breakfast, the mayor strides in at the head of her own patrol. If you look closely, you can barely see the tired lines around her mouth and eyes.
She
Her
does look
rigid
tired.
bearing her rigid bearing seems unaffected by the late nights. She directs her team to get something to eat and then joins you. You ask her if there's been any word from the messenger. None, she says as she receives a tray of her own. The Radiant Order is several days' hard ride. We can expect the cleric to arrive soon. The two of you eat in silence for a few bites before the tavern door slams open and a bloodied Roy rushes in. In here, lads, he says. He sweeps everything off the table nearest to the door as the two men from town carry the limp form of an injured woman. Set her down and give me some space. You rush to his side as he lays his hand on the woman and begins chanting. A green glow emanates from around his hand before sputtering and unaliving. Sorry, thanks to TikTok.
I like how they're always attacking women. Why is it always the women being mangled and attacked? Dang.
Yeah. Grr. Uh, he curses in several languages. Adventurer, we were caught by three skeletons down on the main street, he says. But I'm out of healing magic. Go to Tomlin's house. He must have made some healing potions before he unalived. You look at the mayor, and she gives you a single nod. You bolt out the door on your way to the herbalist's cottage, or if you have your own healing abilities, you can offer to use them.
Oh, I do have my own healing abilities. Look at me being a cleric. So I will offer to use them.
Okay.
Oh, so did we get a long rest since the epilogue? Do I get a long rest?
I I would assume that you probably had a long
Okay, we're
rest.
gonna
It
count it
didn't
as long rest. So
say,
I'm going
but
to use a cure wounds.
yeah,
I'll
because I
touch
mean,
them.
you're because we're looking at like you went on patrol over weeks, so let's see here. Uh, we'll do that if there's no potions to be had, Roy says. We need to keep you in fighting shape, adventure, especially now that I'm out. Save your spells. I've got her stable for now, but please hurry.
I do like that they are acknowledging spell slots. Be like,
Yeah.
not enough energy.
Roy turns his attention to the woman's wounds as you hurry out the door.
Okay, I'm hurrying out the door very quickly, and I know my way around Tomlin's place. I know my way around Tomlin's place.
And in very typical Tiffany fashion, uh, you're left gasping for breath when you arrive at Tomlin's cottage.
Shady.
It seems like such a long time ago you were helping him rid his garden of scrapelings, though in reality it's been little more than a week. The cottage is corpse-like in that it looks exactly the same as the last time you were here, but the dark windows and quiet of the gray dawn give the place a disconcerting stillness. The person who brought this place to life is gone, and a shiver runs up your spine at the realization. But within could be the key to saving someone else. So you set aside any discomfort of stealing from an unalived man and try to find a way in.
Yes, Tiffany was very concerned about stealing from an unalived man. She wasn't concerned about stealing from an alive man.
You try the front door, and it's locked. The trellises are high and thick with vines, and you know firsthand how hard they are to climb, even if the back door would be unlocked. It's not worth the time as someone lies bleeding to unalive men on a tavern table. That leaves you the option of picking the lock on the front door, breaking down the front door, or breaking a window and crawling in.
Okay, so I do have proficiency in sleight of hand, but maybe we'll be better off. Actually, no, it's the same proficiency. I have a +2 in both sleight of hand and athletics to break down the door. Let's try sleight of hand.
Okay, so picking the lock.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, and
So you take out your thieves' tools and get to work on the lock of the door.
oh wait, I don't have thieves' tools, so I can't
Oh,
lockpick. So I'll break it down. I got arms. I got a tough little halfling
okay.
body to slam against this wall.
I'm gonna say that we're assuming that you have thieves' tools because it did not say if you have thieves' tools.
Okay.
So,
Does make me sad I have this forgery kit, but
mm,
no thieves' tools. Thieves' tools would have made so much more sense with my character.
you secretly picked one up along the way.
Yes, I did. In that
Okay.
week of roaming and patrolling, I was stealing a lot of things. So anything I need, I'm gonna have.
All right. It's not very sophisticated, but time is of the essence, and you need to work quickly. Roll a proficiency check with your thieves' tools.
Okay, I got a 15 plus 2, 17.
A 17. Okay. You feel the satisfying click of the lock springing open. With a smile, you quickly stow your tools and barge into the empty cottage to find the healing potions you need. The interior of Tomlin's house looks like the last time you saw it, only frozen in time. No cauldron bubbles and no remedies are being distilled.
And no making out with strange women a day after your fiance's funeral.
Making out with
Tomlin.
Auntie Grandma cousin.
Yeah, making out with Auntie Grandma brother. Auntie Grandma brother. Or brother Auntie Grandma. Brother Auntie Grandma.
All right.
He had it coming. He had it coming. He did have it coming, though.
With only the weak light from outside, the cottage is gloomy despite the brightly colored ingredients drying, and a mustiness is already moving in under the smell of herbs and flowers. Though you feel a twinge of sadness for Tomlin's passing, you quickly collect yourself and start rifling through his belongings looking for any unsold healing potions.
Ah, poor
Go
Tomlin.
ahead.
He passed away so suddenly. I guess he doesn't need all this. He doesn't need this. He doesn't need this. Oh, he doesn't need this.
All right, go ahead and roll an investigation check.
Investigation, -1. Oh, I thought that was a 1 with a -1. If I would have rolled a 0, I got a 12.
You got a 12.
Yeah.
All right, congratulations, you just passed.
I'm so investigative.
Like the care he took with his garden, Tomlin was meticulous about organizing his ingredients and remedies. Everything is clearly labeled and in its place. It doesn't take you long to find what you're looking for.
Gotta be
Your quick,
organized when you're juggling women. Gotta be organized.
Also real quick, I gotta say, didn't you like purchase like 5 healing potions from the general store
Oh
like
yeah,
before
right before
you?
the last fight, I purchased a few healing potions and then didn't use them. I guess I could have used the healing potion instead of wasting my spell slots if I was that worried about it.
Yeah. Maybe you just threw them at the unalived, and maybe that did damage.
Yeah. Reduce, reuse, recycle, and pilfer. I love that. That's Tiffany's motto for sure.
All right, so add 3 potions of healing and 1 antitoxin to your inventory.
Okay. I just
All
realized
right.
I didn't pull up my inventory. Okay, give me 1 second. Okay. I should be able to pull it out if you keep going.
Okay. As you do one last check of the herbalist's belongings, you come across a garland woven of brightly colored wildflowers. It looks like something one might wear in some kind of ceremony, so you assume it's part of some part of the wedding that didn't happen. Interestingly, all the flowers look and smell as if they were plucked from a meadow just minutes ago, though you don't see how that could be possible. Examining the garland, it shimmers slightly as you turn it. This could be helpful as well, and at the very least, you should probably ask Roy about it. It's clearly magical, but you haven't had the time to figure out what it does right now. Add Tomlin's garland to your inventory.
Okay.
One last cursory check doesn't reveal anything else that will be helpful. You rush out of Tomlin's cottage toward the pickled hen, hoping it's not too late.
Well, I'm not hoping that much. I'm doing a brisk stride. I already got winded getting to the cottage. I'm not sweating before we get into the fight. I'm not sweating before we get into the big battle. I'm gonna come into that big battle, makeup on point, no drippy eyeliner, none of that stuff. We're gonna be stunning when we unalive this unalived.
And if someone else has to unalive, so be it.
Exactly. Exactly. I don't know her. She is unnamed woman number two. Like we didn't even get a name for her. She's probably brother auntie grandma. And if she's brother auntie grandma, she's part of the problem. She knew that his fiance had just had a funeral the day before. Mm-mm.
All right.
Women support
Uh,
women.
so these are the thoughts that you had in your head as you sauntered on your way toward the pickled hen.
No, I was talking this out loud.
You burst into the pickled hen, uh, and the bedlam of Roy's arrival has calmed down. The injured militia member is lying on a table, her wounds wrapped in bandages already stained through with blood. Roy is speaking quietly to Marin Atherim. There were three of them this time, he said. Just skeletons, but one of them got past me and caught the poor lass good. Still no word on when the new cleric will arrive? None, the mayor says. Have you learned anything from Solane? Nothing, Roy says. Just the same story that the land itself is cursed, and that the temple puts the dead, the unalive, to rest, but only if there's a member of the Radiant Order caring for it. The mayor nods her acknowledgement at Roy's report and then notices you. Did you find any potions? You say
No,
that you did and
no,
hand one over.
I keep my potions. I give them some dirty water that I put some red food dye in.
I feel like Tiffany's being much more malevolent now in the epilogue than
To be
she was
fair,
in the story.
the story doesn't allow you to be an evil character, and Tiffany is not a good character at the very least. Can I has potions?
I mean, Uzi did help you out like multiple times with some of your dice rolls.
Exactly. All the potions are for Uzi, so the dirty water with red food coloring can be given to this lady. I offered to heal her. She didn't want my. They didn't want my spell slots. Too good for my spell slots, but they'll take my dirty water with red food coloring. I think so.
All right. So,
Should I do
uh,
a sleight of hand to trick them?
so it looks like
Okay.
your knapsack or bag or whatever you are carrying these potions in was not properly secured, and one potion happens to just fall out of the bag into Roy's hands. Remove that
Pickpocket!
potion.
I try to get Roy jailed for stealing my potion. You're going to have to really practice. The more we get into D&D and the more we start like improving, you're gonna have to prepare for this. You know I'm gonna be chaotic. Okay, he can have that potion. He can have my dirty floor potion.
All right, go ahead and remove that potion from your inventory. Roy takes it and administers it to the wounded woman on the table. Stiff with pain despite being unconscious, she visibly relaxes as the druid pours the healing elixir into her mouth. That should do her, he says. She'll at least be stable until I can recover my healing
That
spells.
should do her. Was it a suppository? Oh, okay.
How's your patrol, adventurer? You report to Roy and Marinatherum that your night's patrol was uneventful, but you also show Roy the garland you found at Tomlin's house. He says as he examines it. This is a wedding garland. Not unusual in itself. Uh, Mostly made of flowers that symbolize love, but also some poisonous blooms in the mix. And these red ones? They only bloom in the spring, so they should be unalived and gone long ago. He turns the garland over, watching the magical shimmer. The mayor looks on dispassionately. Well, I don't see any harm in it, he says. I think we could do with a diversion, adventurer? Let's bring back, uh, let's bring this back to Maybelline's folks. That'll give them a little memento and something for us to do while we wait for the new priest.
How do we know it's from Maybelline? How do we know it was from
Oh,
Maybelline? And
yeah, we
also
don't.
poison flowers? Maybe he was trying to unalive his fiance.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh,
Let's go check out the parents and be like, hey, you know that Tomlin was a creep and that we should all spit on his grave together?
without waiting for your reply, the energetic druid whisks you away from the tavern and on your way out of
Yeah, it's
town.
such a good reply, though.
You and Roy enjoy a companionable walk out of Langston, in which you've come to terms with the events of the past couple weeks. You briefly discuss Selene and Roy voicing some current concerns for her health and mental state.
No, I
Uh,
don't. I think we're going to scratch that, and I'm going to tell Roy, yeah. Or wait, now I gotta get, be like, yeah, Roy, I was really trying to just weaken her so I could chop her head off, but they went and took her to jail so quickly. What do you got to say about that, Roy?
and that is totally what you wanted to say, but it's not what you actually said.
Come on.
You come on, like I have only a text to work with, so
No, you got an entire brain to work with. You know Roy now. You know he's a cleric, a druid. You know that he's kind of an okay, chill person. How would Roy react? How would
like if
Roy react to this tiny little halfling nut job?
I don't know where the story is going to be able to work it in. So
Fine.
uh like I think if it was my own adventure where like I knew where things were supposed to go, I could probably work with it. But yeah, I'm sorry.
It's the epilogue. Whatever we write is canon. It's gonna be fine.
uh, the
And
poor
if there
lass
is a
was.
conflict, we just go chronomancy.
Ah, oh, I hate that my eye is feeling really itchy. I apologize to everybody for having to see this.
Having to look at that face.
I mean, understandable.
No, I love
Okay,
that face.
so continuing. Uh, poor lass was so sweet before, he says, and there'd be people taking advantage of that, but she was an important part of this community. It came as quite a shock to the town when Tomlin left her for Maybelline, especially so quickly. As you and Roy make your way through the country roads, the clouds continue to roll in and a light drizzle starts to fall. You're damp and chilled by the time you reach your destination. Roy knocks gently at the farmhouse door. Maybelline's mother opens the door and peeks out, but when she sees you and Roy, she gives you both a wide smile that doesn't reach her tired eyes. She looks thin, as if stretched too far, but that's to be expected given the recent events that have affected her family. If it isn't Roy and the adventurer who brought that priest to justice, she says, you must be freezing. Come in and warm yourselves by the fire. I already have a kettle on for tea. She escorts you into a communal living area with a fire cracking gently in the hearth. Maybelline's father is sitting in a rocking chair mending a harness for some beast of burden. He looks up, meets your eye, and nods. His eyes are rimmed with red and dark circles encase his eyes. As Maybelline's mother bustles off toward the kitchen, Roy leans close to you and says under his breath, something is off here. I know these lands better than anyone, and something is wrong with the farm. You just nod as Maybelline's mother comes in from the kitchen with a teapot and 4 cups. While she busies herself with the tea, you pull out the garland you found at Tomlin's house and present it to Maybelline's parents. Their faces darken when they see it. The adventurer found this in the home of your future son-in-law, Roy says. So I thought you might want it for closure. That looks so familiar, Maybelline's mother says, squinting at the garland. I think Maybelline made that herself. But weren't there two? There
Maybelline
were.
was trying to unalive somebody.
Ah.
Tomlin for being a cheating word I probably can't say on TikTok.
And maybe she was also going after Selene.
Oh yeah. Well, or going after brother auntie grandma.
Yeah. All right. There were definitely two, the father says. I remember Maybelline making them. She was humming and singing these funny little songs the whole time. Did you not find the other one?
Probably ring around the rosy.
Hmm.
And we all fall.
Roy shoots you a loaded look.
Ooh,
This
loaded with
garland
what?
is Um, I yeah, I got nothing. Okay. This garland is unusual, he says. Do you know where the other one is? I don't, said the father. And you can now see he's just ineffectually picking at the harness in his lap. But you can take a look if you think it'll help.
His father's in a harness? Father's a bear?
Yeah, he is working on a harness. Uh,
Supporting
Maybelline's
the
mother.
local bear community, providing harnesses to those in need.
Maybelline's mother still hasn't poured any tea, and she is just staring at the steaming teapot. She looks up, just remembering you're there. Oh yes, please, anything you think might help. Shooting Roy a concerned look, you consider where you should look for the other garland. It may be a clue to the couple's strange behavior. You could check Maybelline's bedroom, the kitchen, or see if there are any of these flowers in the garden.
Wait, Maybelline's bedroom? I guess they weren't living together. She was saving herself for
Hmm?
that marriage. Let's go to her
Yeah,
bedroom first. That's
to the
where we're
bedroom.
most likely to find things that I can take.
Okay. You ask if it's all right to look in Maybelline's room, and her father just points. You and Roy look care. Pardon me. You and Roy look around carefully but thoroughly. You find a twin to the garland you found in Tomlin's cottage tucked under Maybelline's pillow. It has the same shimmer you saw with the first one. You hand Roy Tomlin's garland while picking up Maybelline's. You feel that the ring of wildflowers tugs slightly towards its counterpart, as if the two were trying to touch. It's hard to explain where it might be coming from, but there's a sense of longing coming from the braided wildflowers in your hand. You feel that too, eh? Roy says. This is looking more and more like some kind of enchantment, but nothing like any spell I've ever seen before. The pull continues, an insistent force pulling the wedding garlands toward each other. Come here, adventurer. I want to try something. Roy reaches out Tomlin's wedding garland to touch Maybelline's. Just don't fall in love with me, eh?
No promises.
You let the two strings of woven flowers touch each other, and the tugging sensation
And then we
abruptly
start
stops.
touching each other.
Oh.
You know I love a baldy. A baldy with a beard? Come on, come
with a
on.
with a big ginger beard.
You don't have a ginger beard though. We'll have to fix that. You ready to cosplay as Royce Underhammer?
No, I am not.
If they stretched him out?
The shimmer becomes a flash, and when your vision clears, both you and the druid are holding blackened chains of rotting flowers. Uh, Go ahead and roll an Arcana check.
An Arcana check. Ooh, another
Yes,
-1. Stop making me roll intellect. Ooh, okay, 14.
14.
I'm getting good rolls on these intellect.
Okay, so do you want me to tell you if you passed or not?
I mean,
You did not pass.
oh, I didn't pass with a 14?
No, it was
Damn.
you needed a 15 or higher.
Ugh, the game's cheating.
Not exactly what I expect of a love spell, Roy says. I would have thought they'd want to be paired. This smacks of dark magic, adventurer, but nothing I've ever heard of. You ask him when this town might be able to offer more clarity. Selene is the only one I can think of. She has studied these dark forces for years, and I still sense something about the property. Add the blackened garlands to your inventory,
I'm assuming I removed the previous one. Are there?
I would assume.
Okay. Two blackened garlands. I feel like this needs to account for playing a cleric, because I feel like I could have done some cleric spells to figure some stuff out.
Okay, so you still
Love
have the
that movie.
option of uh, looking in the kitchen or going to the garden where the
Let's
flowers might
go to
have
the
come from.
kitchen. Maybe we can get some food.
Okay. Maybelline's parents barely seem to register your presence as you move from the common area into their kitchen. The first impression is that it is a kitchen like that found in any farmhouse anywhere in the land. Dried herbs hang from the rafters within reach. A cast iron pan sits on the stovetop, smooth with many years of seasoning. There are simple cooking utensils and enough plates and cups to accommodate the small family who lives there. But you and Roy look around all the same. Wrapped in an oilcloth at the back of the pantry, you find a hidden parcel of herbs and flowers. All of the plants are oddly proportioned. Most are covered in thorns that seem just a little too sharp, and leaves and flowers alike are rimmed with unnatural shades of purple and green. One of the blossoms is a deep midnight black, and another has a splash of color almost like a blood stain. Go ahead and roll a nature check.
A nature check. That's a wisdom at least. Wait. Oh no, that's also intellect. I thought that one was wisdom. Damn. Another -1. I got a 10.
Got a 10.
Can I guidance myself? Add a 1d4 to these.
Right. You don't recognize the herbs, but Roy
Will
does,
I
and he
if I
seems
roll a 1? Make that
when
10 a 12. Did that help?
it did not.
No.
You don't recognize the herbs, but Roy does, and he seems to be avoiding touching them. Those plants are not natural, he says. They only grow in unhallowed soil. And while I'm not entirely sure, burning them can also open up communications with demons, devils, and the like. You ask if
Ah.
this is the right mix to do so, and Roy just shrugs. No idea, but Selene might. She's an expert in these things, even without that library of hers. Go ahead and add the unhallowed herbs into your inventory.
Okay.
Okay.
Adding a lot of stuff to my inventory and we barely use any of it.
All right, so now you can either go to the garden to check to see if the
Yeah,
flowers are the
let's
same as
garden it.
Tomlin's.
Let's see if we can eat these devil flowers.
Okay. You and Roy go out into the family garden, and Maybelline's parents seem to not even notice you leave. They have a plot behind the farmhouse. You can see,
If Maybelline ends up being the one that, like, started all of this by trying to unalive someone, let's blame her unattentive parents, not paying attention to anything. To be fair, I guess they are parents of an unalived woman, so like maybe they used to pay attention and now they're dejected. But damn, they need to pay some freaking attention. Got unalive flowers, got devil flowers all around this house. They need to pay
what
more
do they got in the
attention.
garden?
Pay attention to your kids. Have you hugged your kid today? Go back to those 90s or 80s commercials of have you told your child that you love them, you terrible parent that needs to be told to love your child.
Boomers, everybody.
Round of applause for boomers
I,
traumatizing
I, I
all
didn't
of the
say that.
generations, all of
I
the
did not say
generations from
applause.
here to come with their lead paint. Okay, we'll go. We'll go. Yay, Pixel.
Oh gosh. Okay. Uh, they have a plot behind the farmhouse. You can see the vegetables like string beans and tomatoes planted in neat rows, but the soil around them is teeming with weeds, and most of the other plants seem scraggly with neglect. A few flowers are also in
Neglecting the
bloom.
flowers too. What'd I
Yeah,
say?
a few flowers are also in bloom, but not as many as could be. The whole outdoor space gives the impression of a well planned garden that hasn't had any upkeep in a month or so. Still, you look around for the wildflower you saw in the garland. They shouldn't be affected by the lack of care needed by the cultivated plants. Sadly, you can find no sign of the flowers. You do
Hmm.
find something much more interesting. There's a patch of odd soil near the wall of the house, presumably under Maybelline's window. Unlike the rest of the garden, the soil is the same black color as what you saw in the cemetery. This patch is too small to be a grave, but something could certainly be buried there.
I remember. Okay. Oh my
As you
gosh,
crouch,
watch it be like their pet cat or something, and then I have to fight an
oh,
unalived cat, an unalived cat.
well, they did say on patrols you also encountered like the odd unalived pets, so
Oh.
As you crouch down and start digging, Roy breaks off his search to join you. He waits beside you in anxious silence as you scoop away the eerily dark earth. After a few minutes, you reveal that something was indeed buried there. You find a piece of parchment stained a dark brown by the earth and completely covered with a jagged, otherworldly script. There's a braided lock of hair strung through the strange message. That looks like a bizzle to me, Roy said.
Abyssal?
Yeah,
B-I-S-E-L? A-S?
Abyssal.
A-B-B-Y-A-S-S.
So,
Wait, abyssal?
ABY.
Uh,
Yeah, I'm putting it in chat. There you go. That's
Oh,
easier to do for me.
abyssal. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying like abyssal, and I'm like, what's abyssal?
Yeah.
A
Sorry.
singular byssal or multiple byssals?
Like, I think that has to do with, like, demonic, right?
Yes, abyssal is the language of demons. The language of demons! Demons and those that are dark-sided! And then infernal would be devils.
Okay.
And I don't know
Uh,
abyssal. Dang it. I know
so,
draconic and goblin for no particular reason.
well, you've already answered the question because Roy said, "Can you read it?" I
No.
certainly can't. So, if you can speak or read Abyssal through either a language proficiency or some other spell or ability,
I don't think
you,
I. Oh, I never switched my spells. Every single session I talked about switching my spells, which I can do on a long rest, and I never did it.
uh, at the very least, in the next book, now you have an idea of maybe
Yeah.
reallotting some stuff.
Yeah, I went too hard into combat spells. I definitely should have picked more RP stuff.
Okay. You can't read Abyssal, and there's no way you can interpret what's on the page.
Is there even
It
a
may
way to
not.
learn Abyssal? I don't even think I could learn Abyssal. I think comprehend languages would be the only thing that I could do in 2024 D&D, because I think that they took away because it makes sense for my character to know Abyssal, because that would be the realm of chaotic evil, which is the realm of Tiffany.
Yeah, I mean, I would assume like I assume like 5e from 20 whatever.
2014.
Yeah, I want to say 2014, but I wasn't sure. But I assume that some tieflings would be able to speak Abyssal.
Yeah, all tieflings would. Wait, I think they actually get
Oh,
infernal, not abyssal. I'm not positive. I don't
I
remember for
just
sure.
figured it would depend. I figured it would determine like be based off of uh, what their lineage was.
Since there's no way to learn abyssal in 2024 without one very specific spell, and you're the DM, and so you would get to determine if I get to learn exotic languages, and abyssal would be a language I would have picked if I could have picked. Do you want to you want to say that I know
Yeah,
abyssal and I can get rid of goblin?
I don't think it makes sense. So,
What do you mean it doesn't make
well,
sense?
like I mean, it.
Tiffany deals with is the follower of Damballa, an evil chaos god, which would be a demon.
All right, I guess we'll go ahead and replace it.
Thank you. Yay, I know Abyssal
Okay.
now. All you gotta do is gaslight, gatekeep, girl boss your DM into giving you what you want.
Okay, so now we're going to the other one.
Okay,
There we go. You tell Roy that you can indeed read Abyssal,
I can. Just
and
you
he
just gotta
is,
tell God the business. Give God the business, and you can do whatever you want.
and he is suitably impressed. You mumble something about Damballa, and he's like, "What the fuck is a Damballa?"
Sweet and
However,
sweet.
however, looking over the writing, you see that it's actually an incantation of some kind, and is written in a dialect you don't know. There are also a
What
number
was
of
the point
apparent.
of knowing Abyssal?
I mean, you were able to at least determine that it was an incantation.
I was able to determine that I don't know what it says, which I could have just done by not knowing Abyssal.
No, but would you have known it was an incantation?
No, maybe I just read it
So,
anyway. Do I get the chance to? I hope I get the chance to read it.
Okay, let's see what happens. So uh, there are also a number of apparent errors, making it even harder to interpret. After reading through the text a few times, however, you can clearly see that it is a pact with some demonic entity. There appears to be a name, but you cannot make sense of it. So in exchange for something involving the unalived of Langston, it seems that whoever wrote this incantation gets the love and devotion of the target. So it's a love spell, Roy says. A powerful one, I'd wager, if the runoff is also affecting her parents. I don't know if she'll help, but we need to ask Selene about this.
I can threaten
Uh,
her into helping us. Oh, I didn't get you the first time, but I'll get you this time.
all right, so I don't think you have any other options other than to
Nope, I think
return to
we
town and speak to
exhausted
Selene.
everything.
Okay. You and Roy bid farewell to Maybelline's parents, and her mother still half-heartedly offers you tea while her father barely looks up. It's honestly impossible to tell whether it's the magical effects Roy can feel, or if it's just the trauma of recent events. Well, adventurer, Roy says outside, I think we haven't any time to lose. Get on.
I'm gonna
Before
ride
you can
Roy.
question what he means, Roy's form shifts into that of a powerful-looking pony.
A pony? Oh yeah, I guess he is a druid, not for some reason I was thinking he only turned into a wolf, but oh, I wanted him to be a wolf. Can we change it to him being a wolf? I'm a halfling. I'm pretty small. I think I could ride a wolf.
Um,
I wouldn't
Go
ride a
ahead and
puppy.
do some sort of charisma roll.
A charisma,
Like a
so
you're gonna do a persuasion roll
I'm gonna
to see
talk
if you
him
can get him
into
to.
being a wolf.
Yes.
Nat one. Oh, it rolled twice for some reason, but it was a nat. My first roll was a nat one.
Okay.
Okay, so I guess I have to ride a stupid horse. Everyone gets to ride a horse.
So Roy stares at you and then does like a little kick. Like it's like, hey, we need to get going. Let's just go. So he tosses his red mane and prances alongside you, letting you climb on.
Fine, I'll
Uh,
ride the stupid horse. What good is it being so cute and tiny if I can't ride small animals? Stupid nat
I don't know,
one.
but with yeah, at least I didn't make you try and get on and then you just fall off and take
I
damage.
know.
So
Honestly, when you said kick, I thought as like, oh, he's gonna kick me in the head, and I'm just going to be unalived at the in the epilogue.
now I feel like Roy wouldn't necessarily like unalive you. Like
Hey, you know the dice do what they want to do. Say he
yeah.
crits me, and okay, I'm riding a stupid
Okay.
horse when I could have been riding a wolf. Whatever.
Okay. So press along you climb on. Once you've gotten a grip on his neck, he takes off toward
This
the
is what you
town
get
at
for
a
not being a
gallop.
wolf.
I mean, to be fair, like pony form is probably going to be faster, but he sprints into town and clatters down through the cobblestone streets to the jailhouse near the town hall. You climb off of Roy and he reverts to his dwarven form. Both of you enter the jail together. Inside, it is gloomy, with little natural light coming in through the open door. Most of the light comes from the several oil lamps burning around a single jail cell. It looks like it's mostly used for drunks and traveling vagabonds to spend the night, but currently the only occupant is Selene.
So this is where I should have been spending the night, not in the tavern. Drunks and vagabonds, those are my people.
She looks strange without her vestments, instead being dressed in plain gray dress, likely donated by a woman in town. She's sitting calmly on the edge of a cot in her cell, hands over her knees, and eyes on the wall. Still, her eyes dart to you and Roy as you enter. Roy, my dear friend, she says calmly. There's a chill in her voice. Thank you for visiting again. To what do I owe the pleasure? Selene, darling, Roy says as he nervously wrings his hands. It pains me to ask, but I was wondering if I could please ask for your advice. Selene looks between you and the druid. Adventurer, You may have beaten me, but I am not broken. I will help only because you're asking, Roy.
I prepare a guiding bolt in my hand. My hand just starts shining with radiant energy and be like, "You're not broken yet." I mean, you're not broken yet.
All right. So you can ask her about anything you have in your inventory. So the blackened garlands, unhallowed herbs,
Let's do
or
the.
the
Oh, go ahead.
or the lock of hair with the scrap of paper.
Ooh, I'm gonna do the scrap of paper. I forgot about. I forgot. I didn't put that one in my inventory.
Yeah, that's weird. Like, because I feel like if you could read Abyssal, you'd still put it in your inventory. So we're gonna say you put it in your inventory.
Okay, yeah, I added it. So the Heron incantation. I want to do a spell.
Okay, so the lock of hair with a scrap of paper.
Yeah.
Okay. You pull out the braided lock of hair and scrap of paper and hold it out to Selene. She recoils her hand, reaching for a holy symbol that is no longer there. That? That's Tomlin's hair, she hisses. Where did you get that?
Snatch it right out of scalp.
When you tell her it was buried in Maybelline's garden, she reacts with shock and anger. It's pact magic, she snarls. An,
Warlock.
enchant- an enchantment written in the language of demons, so there's a price to be paid. Are her parents all right?
Mm.
Uh, they're acting a bit strange, and there was something wrong with the place, Roy says with a shiver, as if the soil itself were crying out in pain.
And Maybelline's dad just doesn't seem like he's enjoying making harnesses for the local bear community as much as he used to. He seems very
Okay.
dejected.
Um, Now that you remove this from their property, they shouldn't feel any more of the effects within a couple of days, Celine says.
We should put
Then
it
she
back.
mutters then she mutters absently half at Roy. So that's what she meant by powerful friends. I just thought she was talking about some other yokel. You asked
Yokel?
Celine what it Yes, yokel.
Oh, what's a yokel? A local that yokes?
Um I feel like it's just like I want to say like
We're not
some
even to the word games, and we're already looking up words today.
since
Um.
I can't really describe it's here yokel, an uneducated and unsophisticated person from the countryside.
Oh, so it's kind of derogatory. That's nice,
But
Maybelline.
yeah,
Maybe you had your unaliving coming.
I mean, she was not
Cursing
very
people, stealing menses. Damn.
okay. You ask Solane what it means, and she looks away from the spell to lock eyes with you. It means that I killed the man who loved me, she says, but I also got my revenge on the woman who made me do it.
Mm,
Under the smoldering anger of her look, you take a step back from the cell bars. But as quickly as she turned, Solane takes a deep breath and apparently sheds her dark rage as she turns to her friend.
I like
We're
how she says that when she unalived him, like a week after unaliving her. He was
yeah,
already gone, and then took out her lover.
yeah.
I don't think that tracks. I don't think that tracks, Selene.
But Solane says, "We're done here." Um, and apparently you thank Solane for speaking with you and bid her goodbye. She looks at you down her nose.
So by that, it is I let go of, I dissipate the radiant magic from my hand, and I thank her for saving me a spell slot, and then I leave.
I didn't process. So, were
Well,
you
I was
shooting the
threatening
spell or
her.
you?
No, I
Or
dissipate it, and I thank her for saving me a spell slot.
okay, gotcha. Okay. I can't tell if you're truly noble or just in it for your own personal gain, she says to you.
I'm just
But you're not
crazy.
doing. But you're not doing anything that I wouldn't have done in your place. You open your mouth to thank her, but she cuts you off with a smile that reminds you of her wolf fangs. You take a step back from the cell and bump into Roy. Like, why are you just sorry, me talking out of turn here, but like, why are you scared of her? She can't turn into a wolf anymore.
I'm not scared of her.
Uh, but
I
I will get.
actually feel bad for her, so I just pretend. I'm like, oh no, big scary wolf lady. Like, oh, you almost got me. And then,
Also,
like,
hi,
after I
Liz.
walk out of line sight, I'm like, silly bitch is behind bars. She can't do shit.
Okay, let's see here. But she says, but I will still get my revenge someday. Come on, Roy says to you, tugging toward the door. It's time to go.
Is it too late for me to guide and bolt her in the face? She didn't let me thank her for saving my spell slot, so that means she didn't save my spell slot, and I guiding bolt her in the face, obliterate her. She would just be. I
Okay,
assume she would probably just be a. Uh, eh. Okay, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
okay, okay. I've got an AC in mind for her right now, so go ahead and do the spell if you
Ooh, I'm
want to.
gonna guiding bolt somebody. Oh god, I hit the wrong button. I did a damage roll. Ooh, can I save this damage roll? Let me save that
So,
damage roll. 22 damage on what? Oh, and then a freaking 9 to hit. 22 damage would have been so nice.
oh,
I only hit what I assume a 9 wouldn't work. Well, she's.
well, I gave her an AC of 8 because
I was
she's
gonna
just
say
wearing
she's
normal
not wearing any
clothes.
armor.
Yeah, so I'm going to say that because also no longer a wolf, your hit kills her. And then we're going to fast forward, and without her help, the undead take over the town. Everybody dies. The end. And
Yay,
then,
we finished.
and then you say the magic word of what is the most powerful magic?
Chronomancy, friendship and love.
And
Actually,
time
you know what?
rewinds.
I will take 2 spell slots to. I don't know how much health you would have given her. I think that 22 probably would have unalived her, but she would have just been downed, and then I could have picked her back up. I could heal her, throw a healing potion at her to bring her back up and be like, "Your life is in my hands."
All right, so you hit her, but then you revive her.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Okay.
I'm sure
Uh,
this is what Obvious Mimic thought that people would want to do in their
yes,
story.
totally is. That's why they said that they did not write this for evil playthroughs.
This isn't an evil playthrough.
I mean, you did kind of just like.
She literally said that she was going to get revenge on me. I'm just not giving her the opportunity. That's not
I,
evil.
I
If I
mean that.
wait for her to do the revenge and then I unalive her, then that
But
would
do you
be
not know?
good.
You don't know the story tropes of heroes, obviously.
She
Like
also attacked me
heroes,
already. I could have already unalived her and I saved her by just getting her arrested.
then you kill her, you unalive her unarmed in a jail cell where she can't defend herself.
I brought her back. I brought her back.
Okay.
I'm neutral. I'm not good. I'm neutral. Neutral chaotic.
I,
Chaotic
I,
neutral.
I unalived this person, but I brought him back, so I'm neutral.
I mean,
Yeah.
in a world where that is possible, that
Yeah.
is could be
Oh.
like, oh, maybe you didn't mean to.
I mean, to be fair, like in Fantasy High, they did unalive Rog and then bring him back, and now they're hanging out and friends. So,
See, I'm not gonna be her friend. I'm not gonna be that nice to her.
but, okay. So, you ready to get back to the story?
Yes, let's get back to the story. I can't believe you took us on such a tangent.
Once outside, you see tears shining on the dwarf's cheeks and in his beard. He wipes his nose with a sleeve and huffs out a sigh. Selene was the best of us once, he says. A truly good person who did what was right. But now a broken shell and a lunatic. My friend is all gone thanks to some silly girl who couldn't bear to hear no. And also a curse, like she got cursed with werewolf, like being a werewolf. I think that probably did not help.
Yeah, we never learned
But
how she got cursed. Like, we know that it just happened randomly. So is there? I wonder like where that happened, if there is like another werewolf around, or if it's just like unnamed werewolf number one.
Yeah, like I mean, it was when she was out, like out and away, so I don't think it's in this town. But
Well, it's called the Wolves of Langston. There's gotta be another one somewhere. Otherwise, it'd just be the
well,
Wolf of Langston.
I mean, there were also wolves in Langston, and I mean, you have a druid that can turn into a wolf.
Yeah, and we have the mayor who was the Wolf of the Two Rivers or something, though she's not actually a
Yeah.
wolf. She's just a terrible person that thinks that she's helping people for some reason.
All right. You aren't quite sure what to say, but the druid speaks first. Come on, adventurer, he says. We both need some rest. It's another night on patrol for the both of us. Roy walks you back to the pickled hen, but instead of leaving for the grove, you see him shift into his reddish wolf form before curling up on the floor next to you, or sorry, next to the fire. He's already begun to snore by the time you start climbing the stairs to your room. You're enjoying your second uneventful nightly patrol and just finishing up the first watch. You're outside the pickled hen, and light is streaming out of the tavern windows, along with some good natured banter from the militia members you were leading. The innkeeper has been kind enough to keep the common room open late for the night for the militia to eat and socialize after patrols. You've taken a moment to look out over the sleeping town. The clouds cleared while you slept, and now a full moon hangs in the starry sky above. The lamplighters have stayed home while the risk of undead remains high, so the moon's cool white light is the only illumination. In the dappled shadows of the night, you almost miss the small movement across the street from the tavern. At first, you think it's just your eyes playing tricks on you, but you could swear you see a woman standing in the shadows wearing a plain, rough spun dress. The moonlight is playing tricks around her features, keeping her swathed in shadows. You can't even begin to make out the face except for a very small, wry smile and a light colored hair tied back in a tight bun.
I cast Guiding Bolt. I'm kidding.
But then you blink and she's gone. You approach where you think you saw the odd figure and find nothing except a faint chill hanging in the air. You remember that there are still undead wandering the streets, and it would be good to not be caught alone. You return to the inn for a hot meal, a cool drink, and a good night's rest. You wake to the sound of a commotion downstairs in the tavern. It doesn't sound like another injured patrol, but there's a general din of voices in the common room. You ready yourself to go down and see what the fuss is about. You come down the stairs to a heated conversation between Maranatharum, Roy, and a tired looking militia member. There is a problem, the mayor says. Well, the problem is gone, Roy says, and that's the problem. Seeing your confusion, Roy gestures to the haggard militia member still catching his breath. Please don't make me try to explain it, he says. Just come with me.
I just realized we only got to ask her about one of the three items. So late about one of the
Yep.
three items. That's lame. I hope I picked the right one.
The group of you make your way to the jail. The mayor is walking so briskly that Roy has to jog to keep up. When you arrive, it takes you a moment to understand what you're seeing. What's left of the cell's door shattered lock is still glittering with an unnatural frost. A biting chill hangs in the air, and you can see your breath. The cell itself is empty, and you would guess that it's been some time. It has been since sometime late last night. Adventurer, the mayor says. What is this? She points to the floor where the frost forms a distinct pattern despite its jagged edges, a crescent moon. A new voice saves you from having to answer the mayor. Um,
Do you think that counted as a long rest since it said it, the locks were
I
broken
think
late
so.
last night? Okay, I just want my
Yeah,
spell slot
I
back
think so.
in case I gotta get into a fight. They did already stop me from healing the person to telling me to save my spell slots.
Uh, so what happened in this town of yours? Asked the newcomer. You, Roy, and Maranatharum turn to the door where a cleric in dusty white robes is peering into the jail cell. Roy walks up to the cleric, a young man with stooped shoulders and light brown hair, and claps the holy man on the back. It's a long story, lad, but we have plenty of time as we get you settled in the temple. Let me show you the way. It seems your services are no longer required, Marinathram says to you as Roy leads the cleric out. Thank you. Where will you go next? You look at the thick frost on the cell doors and floor, and then think back to your moonlit encounter the night before. You tell the mayor you are not sure yet, but whatever adventure comes next, you will not do it alone. The end.
Hmm. Okay,
So,
well,
no battle.
since that is the end, we are going to go ahead and add to the storyline because we are going to retire Tiffany. She's not going to be the character we're going to play for the next campaign, so we can go ahead and retire Tiffany to Langston. She is going to hunt down Selene endlessly. Endlessly, to the ends of the earth, she's going to hunt down Selene. And maybe if she ends up getting Selene taken out, she will also study to become a cleric of the Radiant Order to help protect Langston and eventually become the mayor and get the unsuited mayor out of there and take
And
over the
marry
entire
Roy.
town of Langston. The end.
And you marry Roy, because you have a thing for
And
bald
I
guys.
marry Roy because of Bald. Hey, Bald. Come on, Bald. Let's get up in this, Bald. And then he lets me ride him as a. Uh, he turns into a wolf,
Oh
and I
my.
get him a little harness made from Maybelline's father. Maybelline's
Tiffany's a
father
furry.
saves time from helping harness the bear community to harness my wolf, Roy Sunderhammer, and he is my buttercup, and he's my little pet that we ride around and patrol the town. There we go. Okay, well, that was fun. That is interesting. They had so much there at the end, and I'm like, where is this going to come in? That's the end of the book. There's nothing else to do. I will say we had somebody come in last week. I think it was Unalive Beaver, who has already played through the campaigns and said that there is like the other books do reference each other to some extent. So hopefully it's not too referencey because we are going to make new character, but yeah, I'm interested to see how that comes. Maybe we can have Tiffany come back. If Selene comes back in another book, maybe we can have Tiffany come in too.
Yeah.
Have a double battle. That could be fun. Okay, so we're done. There's nothing else, right?
Nope, that is the end.
I do love that I have all of the stuff in my inventory. I have like the regular inventory that you can see on the Purple app with my normal items, and then just my storyline inventory. I've got a magic mace, 10 filters of remembrance, cure for polypox, barkskin potion, dagger jewel, agate brooch, magic dagger that glows, a wanted poster, mayor's bounty, an accusation against Selene, an antitoxin, two blackened garlands, unhallowed herbs, hair with incantation. I have so many things. So the next book is going to be called The Crystals of Zleth. And I don't really know anything about it. They put very little detail in the beginning of the book. You kind of go into these books um pretty not knowing. What is the word I'm thinking of? You go in not
Um,
knowing stuff, That's how you go in. So this does say a survivor solo adventure where you can pick your path to explore the lost civilization and uncover ancient secrets. So, survival game. Okay, so this one isn't an unalive or mystery. It isn't a mystery. This one is a survival game. So what I'm thinking is maybe we can make a character together. I will say the one problem we have is that don't know if there's a way for me to put this on TikTok. I might remove your face, Jaded, if you're okay with that.
yeah, do you mind if I just turn my camera off and then you can keep the background?
I mean,
Uh,
oh, look at that big old face over there. Okay, give me just a minute to set up. I gotta switch one of my camera things. Okay, and then I want to go to PC stream, switch Wordle.
I like how I went through all that effort to be able to have my dice shown on
And
screen,
you didn't
and
have to roll a
then,
single thing.
yep.
Okay, let's see if I can get this all up here. Okay, I've got that set up. I am going to have to get this all worked out in a minute. Start this. Of course, it's so stretched out, but let's see what we can do. That looks terrible. I hate how this is coming out. Let's see if I can figure out something else to do with this. Or maybe I will just have my face on here and I'll talk through things. I don't know why this isn't coming out the way I need it to. What if I do this? Nope, that didn't help. Ah, there we go. Okay. And we're going to remake a character. Oh, no, I still have one more slot. Create a new character. Let's see how this goes. This is definitely not the most ideal way to do it. Let's just do some of that real quick. Okay, so we're going to just start building a new character. I don't really have any books and stuff, so it's going to be a pretty basic character. We're going to go with the basic classes, basic race or species. So we have Fawcett Lick's character. What are we thinking? What are you thinking, Jaded? Given not everyone here has been here for um, the whole campaign to see how the game works, but it's definitely seeming like there's a lot of stuff focused on role play, a lot of
Hmm.
intelligence and wisdom checks in particular. So I'm thinking with intelligence and wisdom checks, we could go for like a skill monkey. We could do like a bard. We could even do a rogue, or we could go for like a wizard, warlock, sorcerer. Hmm. I was thinking, okay, so I was thinking earlier that a warlock could be fun. Jaded, you're currently playing a warlock in BG3. How are you liking it?
Yeah, it's fine so far. Got all that Hexen and Eldritch Blastin'.
Yeah, I'm thinking like a warlock could be a fun way to go about things. We could also like kind of make our own patron, figure out how we want to handle doing some patron shenanigans. And since that would be external from the written book, we could really like do whatever we wanted with that. In
Mhm.
fact, maybe our warlock is a streamer and is streaming to their Patreon god, their Patreon, and be like, "Oh, woo, I need some more spell slots, Patreon." Maybe get a little bosom action in there. Might have to censor that for TikTok, but I've got a breastplate upstairs. I got a breastplate, and you better believe I can get those out and be like, I need some spell slots. Get some cam girl realness.
So chat is your patron.
Exactly. That's the point. And then I can get a Patreon, so it would really fit a little chainmail. But yeah, I was part of me was thinking that it could be fun to go for like a simple class, like just doing like a barbarian could be interesting. But with the amount of intellect and wisdom rolls, of course, a warlock is a charisma class, so we won't be able to have like high intellect and wisdom on the character. But we did our cleric, and our cleric was very strong. Our cleric definitely was fun, but I feel like we could do something a little more. I wish that we had our normal people over on the Purple app, because I know that we had a bunch of people wanting to do fire magic. There was a lot of people wanting to set fire to things on previous sessions. So I'm like, a warlock does get the option to do fire too, but we could also look at
Uh,
sorcerer and wizard.
I think you need to do fire in honor of them.
Fire and well, they didn't show up today, so I guess they're just gonna miss out. But yeah, we can definitely do a fire warlock. Does that sound good to you? Do you think that sounds interesting? Also, we would get our spell slots back on a short rest, so we'd get spells. We wouldn't have to be as stingy with our spell slots.
Yeah, it's always fun to get to use spells. So
Yes. Okay, let's try Warlock. Okay, we're gonna do 2024 Warlock, which means we do not get our subclass at level 1. We still have to wait till level 3 for our subclass. Do we want to should we start our Warlock at level 2? Or should we start at level 1? Since this is the second book, and if we would have finished the first book with the Warlock, it would be level 2.
I think we should start off at level 1
Okay, we'll start off at level 1.
because I do feel like combat was fairly easy in that first one. So
Yeah, and definitely as a Warlock with a little Eldritch Blasting, I think it should be really good. And actually, I think that the way Warlock has changed in 2024, you can uh, use your what's it called, Agonizing Blast. I think that affects any cantrip, not just or yeah, Agonizing Blast, I think affects any cantrip, not just Eldritch Blast. So we could do a Fireball based, uh, like use Fireball as our primary spell to keep that little Pyromaniac vibe that we were getting.
you don't have to use your tinderbox.
Yeah, I don't have to use the tinderbox to set a fire and then just hold the enemy into it. Okay, so we're gonna do a Warlock. What do we want? There's our we can make it a more charisma based warlock, or we can give it more arcana and intellect stuff. So they can do deception and intimidation, which we're probably going to have high because we're going to be high charisma. I think it might be better to put the skill proficiencies in intellect um skills. So we could do like an arcana, a very magical warlock. There's a lot about arcana. There's a lot about maybe so it's a survival game. So maybe we should know a lot about nature and arcana. Make a warlock that's a an explorer, like a traveling explorer that likes to find new magics. So they're very used to wandering around in surviving out in nature, and also they're very studied at magic. How's that feel?
I think it sounds good.
Okay, so we'll have Arcana in nature. Oh, we get an Eldritch Invocation at level 1? I forgot about that. So the level 1 Eldritch Invocations are Armor of Shadows, which I believe is armor of something that starts with an A, where it gives you a temporary health, and also when you get hit, it does magic. Eldritch Mind, I'm not sure what Eldritch Mind does. Advantage on Constitution saving throws that allow you to maintain concentration. Perfect. That actually sounds good. Oh, I was wrong. It's Armor of Shadows as mage armor. So that would be if we are wearing robes, it will give us a +3. But warlocks naturally get light armor, which would then make mage armor not work. So I don't know about that. We can do Pact of the Blade, which would be like a martial. Give us some physical, give us some melee damage. Pact of the Chain gets us a little familiar. Would you want to RP as a familiar, Jaded? Do you want to be my little
Uh,
familiar?
one that doesn't do English words or whatever the common language is.
What do you mean? Okay. I mean, okay, so does that voice fit an imp, a pseudo dragon, a quasit, a skeleton? Oh, you didn't play any of Dragon Age: The Veilguard, did you?
I did not.
There is a necromancer in there that has a skeleton that doesn't speak at the beginning and does just kind of make like gargling and grunting noises. Might be perfect. You're gonna have to play the game to practice.
I'm gonna have to rattle my bones.
We
That,
can
that
get
that's
a
bones and not ice in a drink.
yes. We got a slad tadpole. I don't. I think that is like a floating worm kind of vibe. A sphinx of wonder, a sprite or a venomous snake, or a pact of the tome where we just get spells, extra spells. Wait, what spells do we get? Um. Okay, we could get a. Looks like we get a pick out of pretty much every cantrip, and I think we get other spells too, right? Okay, yes, and we get a few option for a few spells. It looks like if we did Pact of the Tome, we could get comprehend languages, which would help if we have to decipher anything. Also, we can get like detect magic, identify. Maybe Pact of the Tome could give us some versatility.
I do like Packet of the Tome and having additional abilities.
Yeah, I feel like normally I go Pact of the Blade, but just being that I feel like that would just put me into being a more combat oriented character, which is not what we're going for. And as nice as it is to have Constitution saving throws, advantage on Constitution saving throws, I do kind of feel like Pact of the Tome might be more the route to go. Unless you want to do, if you want to do a familiar. If you want to be a familiar, we can go that instead. But,
I'm fine
oh,
with either route, so
actually, yeah, I'm gonna say not familiar because I forgot that familiars attack. If they attack, it takes your action for them to attack. So I'm gonna say let's just go for more spells.
what do you think, chat? Do you want to have to hear my god awful voices for imps and stuff?
Wait. Oh dang! I was hoping that. Oh wait, find familiar is one of the spells, so I could still have you be a familiar. What is the point of? Wait, what is the point of having Pact of the Chain if under Pact of the Tome you can still get a familiar? And find familiar, cast it as a magic action without expending a spell. Okay, so I guess you just get to not spend a spell slot to do the summoning. Oh, and you get extra options. So there are normal summonings, and then the special forms are the Imp, Pseudo Dragon, Quasit, Skeleton, Tadpole, Sphinx, Sprite, Venom Snake. Okay, so it does expand a little bit on the regular Find Familiar. I still think that Pact of the Tome might be a little bit more interesting. Um, so with that, it was a very good voice. We might have to make a Find Familiar one so that you can hear more of Jaded doing fun little voices. I mean, Jaded's already going to be reading the entire thing, so we're going to get plenty of voices. Since the Warlock spells are more limited than the Tome spells, I'm going to go with we're going to pick our Warlock spells first. So as a Warlock, we definitely want Eldritch Blast. I'm going to be super basic, and we're going to be an Eldritch Blast core Warlock. And it looks like we can do Minor Illusion, Prestidigitation, and Mage Hand. Or we can go for another offensive spell like Chill Touch, which I think is a touch range spell. Yeah, I don't know if I want to do Chill Touch. Poison Spray, which is a ranged spell, and it just targets one person, so it's not necessarily any better than Eldritch Blast. And then True Strike. I do think they changed how True Strike works, but I don't know if it's weapon damage only, but they did change how it works. So weapon damage means True Strike won't be helpful for us. So we have really Prestidigitation and Minor Illusion, I think would be the most fun. How do you feel, Jaded? Just because I doubt that the game is going to ask for us to do Prestidigitation or Minor Illusion, how do you feel about us doing that?
I don't know in context the
It's going to be pure improv role play.
I mean, you can go for it and see what happens.
Okay, I'm going to go with. I feel like doing Minor Illusion will be a little bit easier for you. It'll be a soundless, or no, you can do a sound or an image, and it's a small 5 foot cube versus Prestidigitation can be sensory effects, fire, create or extinguish fire, uh, cleaner soil, minor sensation, ooh, a magic mark, and a minor creation. So I think that it'd probably be a little bit easier for us to just do a little minor illusion play. Uh, okay, so we're gonna have our two, right? Yeah, two cantrips, Eldritch Blast and Minor Illusion. And this is actually really useful for a game like a regular Warlock. Like I think the Warlock we're gonna make is gonna be slightly catered to this specific style of one-on-one solo D&D. But I also think that whatever we do with the Warlock is probably going to be really useful no matter what kind of character we make. Like what kind of campaign you're doing.
Mhm.
Okay, so we have Bane, Charm Person, Comprehend Languages. Oh, you get Comprehend Languages without the tome. So we'll definitely get that either here or otherwise. Detect Magic, Expeditious Retreat, Hellish Rebuke, Hex, Illusory Script, Protection from Good and Evil, Speak with Animals, Tasha's Hideous Laughter, and Unseen Servant. So, given the information that we've gotten for the game already, I kind of want to lean towards one offensive spell and one RP spell. So, I think Hex would be a good offensive spell, which is you put a hex on an enemy and you can pick what stat to hex: strength, charisma, wisdom, intellect, any of the stats, and they will have a disadvantage on rolling saves on that effect.
Yeah, they're
So,
not.
and it also adds a 1d6 to all the damage we do, right? Yeah, 1d6 necrotic damage to the target whenever you hit it with an attack roll. Oh, with an attack roll. I wonder if that's why we've been playing BG3 and some of the spells don't seem to be including
Hmm.
the necrotic damage from Hex. So I think it's probably if it's a save spell, it probably doesn't add Hex, but if it's an attack roll spell, it had adds or an attack roll attack. So melee, ranged, or spell attack. Were you gonna say something, Jaded?
I was just gonna say, so it doesn't target their charisma, uniqueness, nerve, or talent.
It can target their charisma, not their uniqueness, nerve, or talent. No unt. So, okay, so for RP, I think that the top two for RP would probably be Comprehend Language and Detect Magic. There is Illusory Script, but I feel like that'd be really hard to run in a book module, so I don't think that'll be that helpful. Protection from Good and Evil could possibly be useful. And then Speak with Animals. I feel like that's very niche. So maybe I'm leaning towards. comprehend languages. Do you think that would be helpful out of those spells? Comprehend
Mm,
languages, detect magic, and
I mean,
protection from good and evil.
it's tough to say because I mean, it still feels very niche. Like I think really Abyssal is the only language that came up that
Yeah.
we could have used
Uh,
it in. But
Sylvan came up as well. There was a dryad that we could have talked to. Well,
oh, yeah,
we did still talk to it, but maybe we could have got more information if we were able to speak its
true.
language.
So yeah, maybe that would be a good one.
And it is a survival game. In what did it say? It said it is a survivor solo adventure where you pick your path, explore a lost civilization, and uncover ancient secrets. So if it's in like an ancient language or something, we should still be able to understand it with comprehend languages. Charm Person is a spell where you can cast it on a humanoid, and they will not attack you if it passes. So you can kind of use it to like calm someone down. It does have disadvantage if you're in combat. So that means that if you're already in combat with them, it might make it's gonna be harder to work. But if you cast it before you get into combat, you get advantage on rolls for to like persuade or intimidate or talk to it. It is a very useful spell in typical RP. I'm not sure how it will work with this game, but I definitely run this on my Bard. I run this on my Bard, and I love casting it, even though it has kind of a low chance of working, which kind of stinks. I wish it had a higher chance of working. I love Charm Person. Okay, so we got our spells. All of our spells are going to be Eldritch Blast, Minor Illusion, Comprehend Languages, and Hex. So basically, we have two spells, one cantrip, one spell slot spell that are offensive, and then we have two RP spells. So we have those, so we can go back to our Pact of the Tome. We got to choose from a much bigger list. Oh gosh, a much bigger list of spells to use. So I am going to just go through and we're going to skip most of these because we're not going to do a lot of offensive abilities. I'm going to throw in Firebolt. We got to have a Firebolt. Um, but then other than Firebolt, I think we should see what we have for RP. Guidance would give me a 1d4 on my rolls, which could be helpful, especially for days that we don't have people over on the purple app giving me advantages. Produce flame is another fire attack. Resistance would increase our resistances. Hmm. I actually don't know what would be good for these. I think we're going to do guidance. If we do guidance, that will give us a bonus 1d4 on our rolls, our ability rolls. So that should help us through the book. We could look at doing another kind of offensive ability just to cover more. Hey, Slayla, how are you doing?
Also, metagaming, metagaming.
What do you mean metagaming? We're not even in the game yet. I don't know anything to be able to metagame. I'm just thinking of making a nice, well-rounded character. Um, Dang, most of these cantrips don't really have many uses in this kind of format. So I'm thinking maybe we do just want to do another. Oh yes, happy birthday week to Jaded and Slayla. You're both going to be so old. How's it feel to be closer to unaliving?
It feels
Oh my gosh, Jaded's
different.
turning 47 this week.
No, I am not. You're rude.
Why is 47 rude? Aging
Uh,
should not be shamed.
hmm. I mean, it shouldn't because like it's gonna happen regardless.
It
But
is going to happen regardless. It means that you're a survivor, Jaded. You're a survivor. You're turning 39, right?
Yeah.
Haha, still old. Sorry, any other 39-year-olds. I've got a couple more years still. Me being a sweet young thing. Look at my skin. I'm still breaking out like a teenager. Though I think that's more to do with my bad skincare routine than it does with being young and not a Dave or 19. Okay, I don't really know what spells to use here. I'm kind of leaning towards let's just do another offensive ability, I guess. Maybe we'll do a shocking grasp, which means if something comes close to us, we can electrocute it and run away.
Um, but I mean, with the way we're doing it in the book, like we're not actually using a map and movement and stuff. So is that going to matter?
I mean, yeah, because say that like in the fight when like in the fights we've done, we've ran very basic fights because we're still learning how this all works. But if you melee hit me, that means that we are in melee range. So if I use my turn to run away from you, then you would get an opportunity attack unless I did something like uh shocking grasp. So it's not super likely. Like, honestly, the combats have been easy enough that that probably wouldn't be needed. But at the same time, I'm a caster, and in melee range, I have disadvantage. So if you do run up to melee me, I would then have to use attack at disadvantage, which would make it harder to hit. So me shocking them and running away would give me an option to potentially get away from them.
Okay.
Though they would honestly probably just like run right after me immediately after, and I just have to keep chalking them until they're unalived. Do you have an idea on what you would do? Also, Pixel and Slayla, on Thursday, we're going to be doing a community game night. We're going to be playing Roblox. It is all free games, but we'll be playing some games together. So if you're interested in games, it's going to start at 10 p.m. US Eastern Time on Thursday, and I will be in makeup and hopefully be super beautiful. We'll see how that turns out.
I I think I got to step away from the mic for a little bit, but I will still be in the chat.
Okay, then I guess I'm on my own. I'm on my own, everyone.
Yeah,
And by on my
we've
own, it's me and you all.
got Slayla, Listen, Pike.
You'll be asleep at 10 p.m.? Dang. Looks like Slayla's ready for her birthday. Getting old. Dinner at 3, bed by 6. You know how it is. Honestly, we have been doing dinner at 3. Like, 3 to 4. Jaded gets off work at 3 p.m., and I'm pretty much cooking dinner as soon as he gets off work. But then I eat taquitos at midnight. Body is tea. Okay, I'm going to put on a. We're going to do another offensive ability just to like cover our bases. I think we're going to do a Ray of Frost so that we can slow down things that might be trying to get to us. Hopefully that will be helpful if we attack them at long range. And then we have our core spells. We already got comprehend languages. We could do. I don't think alarm will be useful. We have detect magic, detect poison, and detect disease. Well, detect poison and disease. We have the identify spell. Purified food and drink. Speak with animals. Tensor's floating disc. I don't know what Tensor's floating disc is. I'm not familiar with that spell. But maybe we should go with detect magic. I think that'll be useful for us. And I don't know if I want to go for identify or if I want to go for speak with animals. I think it'd be fun to be able to speak with animals if there are any animals to talk to. Though I don't know if this first book let us talk to any animals. We did run into a couple of animals, but I don't think that we had an option for speaking to them. So maybe we don't want to do speak with animals. None of these are offensive abilities. They're all ritual spells. So we're going to go with Find Familiar, and we're going to make Jaded be a cat or something. Maybe you should have asked for consent when kissing puppies. Would it have given me advantage on my rolls? If I ask, if I can speak to animals and ask the puppies in their own language if I can give them a kiss, that should give me advantage, right? I think so. I think so. But I think we're going to do Find Familiar. So that means with Find Familiar, we should be able to make a number of little cute friends. We can have like a little cat friend to go on our adventure with us. I think that'll be fun. Okay, so we have guidance for help on our rolls. We have fire and frost to cover two different kinds of damage types. And then we also have Eldritch Blast from the Warlock, which is force damage. So you have three kinds of damage to cover our bases if they're resistant to anything. We have Guidance, Detect Magic, uh, Minor Illusion, and Comprehend Languages. So you have four RP skills. And I think all of these RP skills would have had some use in the Wolves of Langston. So I think this should work out well. And if not, we just cry. I think that's it. I think we just cry. So since I only have the core rules, we are limited to Acolyte, Criminal, Sage, and Soldier. I don't know. I'm not familiar with these in the 2024 rules. So it looks like for Sage, we get history, and we can do another kind of proficition, uh, skill proficiency. We also get magic initiate, which gives us two cantrips and another spell. And whenever we level, we can replace one of the spells. So we could get even more spells and cantrips by being a sage. And I feel like out of a criminal, acolyte, sage, and soldier, I think a sage would make the most sense for how we described our character. We are a wanderer. We're a wanderer that loves magic, loves studying new magics. We are used to living out in the wild. We are going to be diving deep into these ancient civilizations, these ancient lost civilizations. So I definitely think having history would make a ton of sense. Yeah, Sage makes sense for exploring. I definitely agree. So then we need to figure out what else. We already picked nature and arcana. So you have nature, arcana, and history proficiencies. What else would make sense for our little explorer? There is like acrobatics, animal handling, athletics, deception, insight, intimidation, investigation. I feel like investigation maybe. Medicine, perception. Perception might be good too. Investigation and perception. Performance, persuasion, religion, sleight of hand, which is like stealing things, kinda, being tricky with your hands. Stealth, ooh, and survival. Survival would make a lot of sense too. Insight, insight could definitely make sense. So insight would be if we're talking to someone, trying to like sense their motivations, trying to like sense things about other people. So I think that like we're probably leaning the most towards. I think that insight could be good. Investigation and perception would be. Investigation would be looking at a scene and trying to figure out what happened. Perception would be looking around and seeing what you see. I feel like both of those would make a lot of sense for our little explorer. And survival would be great for surviving out in the world. Since this is a survival game, I do wonder if survival would be super helpful. I mean, it's in the name, right? What do y'all think? I see Slayla already says insight. We could put insight. If anyone else has any ideas, if they think of anything that fits, let me know. Uh, Basically, what I think I want to make sure we do is our proficiencies to be in intellect and wisdom. And insight is a wisdom, so that would still fit. And survival, I think, is also wisdom. History, wonder if my comma is getting blocked for some reason. Yeah, I didn't see anything since you said sage, jaded. Uh, so I don't know if you can like put an X in the middle of the word or something of whatever word you think might be getting blocked. But so far we have Arcana, Nature, and History, which are three of the five intellects. Oh, you said acrobatics? I wonder why it would censor acrobatics. For Indiana Jones, are we gonna be Indiana Jones in the Pact of the Devil? Or are you saying acrobatics because of the number of times that I had to roll acrobatics to do flips? I don't think I'll be doing as many flips. This is going to be much more of a uh, caster, long range, careful kind of player or character rather than kissing puppies and doing flips. Kissing puppies and doing flips was a Tiffany Mansfield vibe. But also, we don't have to decide this all now. We can still talk about this before the next game. Oh, traps. Okay, yeah, if it is a survival game that has a lot of traps, maybe that would be good. Or maybe we fail the traps for the win. Let's get to other things. Let's look at like our stats and stuff, and maybe we'll come back here and change it. I'll just leave it for insight, but we could definitely come back and look at it again. So we get two cantrips, a spell, two cantrips and a spell, and then we also get to put our modifiers in. Oh, we got to pick what our so we are a warlock, so we are going to want them to be charisma modifier spells. Spells off of our charisma modifier. We have all these spells. True Strike, Shocking Grasp, Ray of Frost, Prestidigitation, Poison Spray, Minor Illusion, Message, Mending, Mage Hand, Light, Firebolt, Dancing Light, Chill Touch, and Acid Splash. Still don't have a lot of RP options, but we could definitely use this to increase the number of resistances we can avoid. So we already have Ray of Frost, Firebolt. I think we should do Shocking Grasp, which I was going to get before. Shocking Grasp will give us lightning damage, and also if something comes into melee range, we can shock it, and then we can run away without being hit. And then I don't know if Mending will be helpful. I feel like I want to go with Mending for RP, which is just you can fix a small broken thing. So like if you or you can clean something that's dirty. So like if you got mud on your shirt, you can touch it to clean it. If you broke your pencil, you can touch it and fix your pencil. Uh, Basic little fixy things like that. And I feel like for a survivalist, that would be important. Maybe there will be a opportunity where something breaks and we need to fix it, or maybe we can just RP with it. That's also a thing. We already have force, fire, frost, and lightning damage. So we got four types of damage already. Or we could do light. Honestly, why are we not doing light? We're gonna do light. If we're gonna be exploring like old ruins and stuff, why would we not have light? I don't know why I didn't think about that till now. And then we have one more spell. Ooh, we can get a good spell here. Okay, Burning Hands, Charm Person, Chromatic Orb. Chromatic Orb is a really strong single target magic spell. That might be worth keeping an eye on. We have Comprehend Languages, Detect Magic. Disguise Self could be something fun to RP. I don't know if there will actually be use in the game for Disguise Self. Expeditious Retreat, False Light, Featherfall, Find Familiar we already have. Fog Cloud, Grease. Identify. Do we do Identify? I can't remember. I think we did Detect Magic, not Identify. Illusory Script, Jump, Long Strider, Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Protection from Good and Evil, Ray of Sickness, Shield. Ooh. I think I'm already sold on Shield. I really like Shield. Silent Image, Sleep, Tasha's Hideous Laughter, Tensor's Floating Disc, Thunderwave, Unseen Servant. I'm going with Shield. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm going with Shield. I love the spell Shield. Basically, what Shield does is if you're attacked and the attack would hit you, you can cast Shield and it increases your AC by 5 to hopefully make the attack not hit you. So it can help you not get hit by an attack. And then for ability scores, we're going to do a. Actually, what do you get as a. What are the ability scores for a Sage? Oh, it says it right here. Constitution, Intelligence, and Wisdom. Okay, so we don't get Charisma, which kind of sucks. Not because Charisma is really what we would want. Maybe we will do a 1-1-1. Let's see what a 1-1-1 balances out to. We might change it to a 2 in Constitution and a 1 in either Intelligence or Wisdom. Oh no, we only have 4 species to pick from. A elf, a dwarf, a halfling, and a human. Hmm. How boring do we want to get, Jaded? I hear you.
Yep, I am back. I mean, we can go with the classic uh, exploratory dwarf, like in World of Warcraft, how Harrison Jones, I think, is the name that they go by.
Yeah. Okay, so a dwarf would. So the nice thing about 2024 is that all the speeds have been normalized. So by playing a shorter class, you don't lose speed anymore. A short king. Oh, this one's an elf. I love tieflings. Honestly, part of me is like, I wonder if I can get a tiefling in here. Can I figure out what a tiefling is? Let me try something real quick. Okay. Okay. So this character I made is a tiefling bard that I'm playing in an actual game, and I think I might have more access to stuff on here. Okay, it's pretty limited still. Dang, I was kind of hoping. Change species. Oh, no, it won't let me change it. Okay, I do think a dwarf could be fun. I wish they had gnomes. I want to be a gnome. Okay, let's look at what we have for dwarves. Dwarves, you have special traits. You have dark vision with a range of 120 feet. Dwarven resistance to poison damage. You also have advantage on saving throws that make you avoid throws you make to avoid or end the poison condition. So if there are like poison traps, which I feel like when there are traps, that's a very popular one, that could be useful. Your maximum hit points increase by 1. It increases 1 again whenever you gain a level, so you get a little bit more health. As a bonus action, you gain Tremor Sense with a range of 60 feet for 10 minutes. You must be on a stone surface or touching a stone surface to use Tremor Sense. The stone can be natural or worked. And it doesn't say what Tremor Sense is. I believe that okay, a creature with Tremor Sense can pinpoint the location of creatures and moving objects within a specific range, which for us would be 60 feet. Provided that the creature with the Tremor Sense and anything it is detecting are both in contact with the same surface. So even if it's pitch black and you can't see anything, you can feel where the creature is, essentially.
Gonna top Beifong this.
Yes, essentially, we could Toph Beifong. I don't know how useful that'll be in this book, but it could potentially be useful. I do find it interesting that they have that tremor sense while also having 120 feet of dark vision. It's like, well, if it's within 60 feet, you'll just be able to see it with dark vision. Though tremor sense can help you see behind walls. Let's look at what the elf does real quick. Okay, what we got for elf? So there are drow, high elves, and wood elves. Each of them have little variations. Drow are kind of like dark elves. But we are almost out of time for this, so we're gonna go. We might end up cutting this a little short and finishing up on the next stream. Or if we can at least get through the basics, I can just do stats later. So what do we have? Drow. Your range of dark vision increases to 120 feet, which was the same as the dwarf. You also get dancing light. Okay, so if I get the dancing light cantrip, I might not need light. I think that dancing light essentially has like a glowing orb of light versus light as a cantrip. Anything I touch can be lit up. So I can like touch my weapon, and then it then lights the way versus just having a floating orb that lights the way. We don't really need to worry about level 3 and 5 because we're probably not going to get that high a level. A high elf, you know the prestidigitation cantrip. Whenever you long rest, you can replace that cantrip with a different cantrip from the wizard spell list. So we get basically another cantrip with high elf as well. And a wood elf, your speed increases to 35 feet. You also know the druid craft cantrip. Druid craft, I think, is very similar to prestidigitation with just a little bit of difference. Weather sensor bloom and a sensory effect. Prestidigitation does a sensory effect, and then fire, cleaning, or minor sensation. Okay, you also have an advantage on saving throws to avoid or end charm. You have proficiencies in insight, perception, or survival. Okay, so we were talking about having each of these three being a possible proficiency, so we could add one of these. And you don't need sleep. The magic can't put you to sleep. You finish a long rest in 4 hours if you spend those hours in a trance-like meditation during which you retain consciousness. So I think, I'm not positive, but I think a short rest is uh, an hour to less than 8 hours. So like 1 to 7 hours is a short rest, and then if you had 8 hours, that's a long rest. So that means that this could potentially give us the effects of a long rest on a short rest. Though, if we're a warlock, we don't really need a long rest. We just need short rests. Elf looks cool. We could do an elf. Okay, what kind of elf would we want to look at? Drow, high elf, and wood elf. I don't think any of the cantrips are particularly useful to us. Dancing light would give us the option to use dancing light instead of light. High elf prestidigitation isn't going to do much for us, and druid craft isn't going to do much for us. Okay, list as a drow. What do you like about drow? So in D&D, in 2024, drow might change, but typically drow are kind of evil leaning. So they are main drow society is a matriarchy where men are kind of treated like poop. Valid. But they live underground in a matriarch society, and they are primarily ruled by a chaotic evil spider demon called Lolth. High elves and wood elves, I don't really know as much about uh, their lore. Drow are very interesting. I'm currently playing a drow in my Baldur's Gate 3 campaign. I'm also playing the Dark Urge, so I'm playing a evil playthrough. So yeah, a drow would make a lot of sense. I mean, also if we're looking at it, a lot of the magic and a lot of these like secret or oh, I gotta 1 second. Okay, if we're going for being like an explorer, and we're going to be going down into ruins and probably down into like these secret tunnels and stuff, that would very much make sense with the Drow. Drow are from the Underdark, which is basically like a subterranean uh, place. So it would make a lot of sense for a Drow to be this kind of explorer. Okay, so let's say we had a couple people say elves look good, so maybe we'll confirm elf. See what we can do with an elf. So the creature type is a humanoid, size medium, 5 to 6 feet tall. That doesn't feel accurate. I'm pretty sure they have a longer size range than that. 30%, 30 feet speed, 60 feet base dark vision, but we're going to change our lineage to Drow lineage, unless anyone wants to compete with that. I think Drow makes a lot of sense. Though we can't be evil. I know that we keep wanting to play evil characters. It can't be an evil character, so we might have to be a Ceterine, I think is how it said, which is like a non-evil drow. I know, Liz, I know. So we get the Fey Ancestry, which is advantage on Charmed. We're going to get Keen Sense. We already have put down that we have Sage, Insight in our Sage. So I think let's go with Survival. Ooh, though I'd really like Perception. What do y'all think, Survival or Perception? Also, I don't think languages are going to matter. Uh, we're going to know Elvish and maybe Dwarvish. Halfling, Draconic, Dwarvish, Giant, Gnomish, Goblin, Halfling, Orc. I think Dwarvish would make sense since these are both going to be like underground kind of vibes, like Drow, Elvish, and then is there Undercommon? Undercommon's not an option. Why is Undercommon not an option? We might edit that later. I might go in and talk to Jaded, see if we do some give them an exotic choice because I definitely feel like I should know Undercommon if I'm going to be a Drow. Um, what do we think? We got Insight and Survival. We'll go with that. Did we pick everything else? I thought I picked this. Oh, okay, this is a spell. We're a warlock, so we want charisma as our casting modifier. And we've got our base character made. Now we do stats. I like doing point buy. So point buy is basically you have 27 points and you can put them into each spot the way that you want to have them. Once you get to 13, it takes 2 points to go up one level. So we already put 1 point into Constitution, Intelligence, and Wisdom. So that means if we just put 1 point into each of these to 9, that'll automatically go up to 10. We're going to want to cap out Charisma with at least a 14, at minimum of 14. So we have a 14, 10, 10, 10. Dexterity, let's also put as a 14. And then we have 10 points. We should probably put into Constitution. 6, 2, and 2. Okay, so this would give us a Dexterity of 14, a Constitution. Oh, I don't need all that Constitution. I'm going to reduce that down to 14. And then maybe we can go another 2 points into Intelligence or Wisdom. Okay, this is a very, very spread out. I'd normally specialize my character a bit, but I feel like since this is a pre-written module, having our stats kind of balanced out might be useful. So strength is not going to be like any use to our character at all, so I'm going to keep strength at minimum. But a 15 is the highest you can go on here, given the stats that we currently have. So I think that we're going to do a 14, 14, 14, 12, 14. It's going to be very jack of all trades, master of none vibe. Sadly, the stat that we really want the highest is charisma, but with a sage background, we were not able to increase that. So this is the highest we can. We could technically put it to 15, but odd numbered stats are not useful. You only get a modifier every 2 points you put in. So this is probably going to be our best bet for a nice across the board. I'm not going to do equipment right now, so let's just view the character sheet and see what we have. Okay, so this is going to give us a +2 to dexterity, con, intelligence, and charisma, and then a +1 to wisdom. So we should have at least some kind of positive roll on every type of roll that we have to do. So if we look at this, we have like a +2, +1, 4, a -1 in athletics, but that's going to be our only negative. Everything else is going to be a +1, +2, 3, or a 4. I think that looks good. We have tons of spells to use. We have force damage, lightning damage, fire damage, frost damage. We're also going to have a melee weapon, probably a short sword or something like that. For spells, we have we have 2 kinds of light spells. I might go back and change light since we have dancing lights already. Ooh, though dancing light's a concentration spell. Okay, maybe I will keep both of these light spells. Then Eldritch Blast, Firebolt. We already talked about those. We have Minor Illusion for RP. We have Guidance to help us with our rolls, which is a 1d4 on any rolls we make. We also can comprehend all languages. So the way comprehend languages works is any language that we are seeing, like if we see someone speaking Sylvan, we can understand what they're saying. Also, we can read any language as long as we can touch the book or the stone or whatever the language is on. As long as we can touch it, we can comprehend whatever's written as well. We can identify magic if we find any weird items around. We're going to have a little familiar. We're going to have to think through what the familiar is going to be. And then we'll have Hex and Shield as combat abilities. So we have like a nice little spread. Our stats are all very evenly spread, and we have a mixture of combat and RP spells for our little warlock. So I think that's all we have for today. I'll probably clean this up. I might try to find a picture, try to see if I can find a good picture. I could even take my drow from Baldur's Gate 3, where I've already made a drow character, take a picture of them and have that be a visual representation for our character. But yeah, I think we're all good. How are you doing, Jaded?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, so it is slightly after uh, midnight, so we are going to go offline. Heads up at, oh gosh, what time? 1 a.m. 1 a.m. U.S. Eastern Time. So in about 50 minutes, I will be going back on live to play some word games. We play some Wordle, we play some Texto, we played a lot of Connections on Thursday. So if you like word games, come on in. We will be starting the Crystals of Zaleth. We'll be starting this new campaign next Monday. And on Thursday this week, we are going to be doing Roblox games. If you have a Roblox account, you want to come in and play some games, it is free. If you don't have a Roblox account, and you can play it on your phone, you can play it on your PlayStation, your Xbox, your computer, you can play it on your tablet, you can play Roblox on pretty much anything for free. So make an account if you don't already have one, and come play with us. Last time we played Roblox, we did a Mario Party spinoff. We might do that again. So we could play games like Mario Party. If there's a game you like on Roblox, let us know what it is, and we can all play it together. We might play some Dress to Impress. What else do we play? We got some Squid Game. We played Squid Games. We've played some horror games. If there's a game you like to play, come on and let's play it. That'll be on Thursday at 10 p.m. U.S. Eastern Time. Until then, we will see you later. Um, Maybe we'll see you in 50 minutes.